So in the previous video, I showed you one of the ways to build a website prospecting list, building it through Ahrefs. And we talked about, well, the next step is usually the most time-consuming step, and the reason why most people stop doing outreach is because they have to actually build a prospecting list. They have to clean up the data, they have to find the right contact emails, and they have to verify the emails, and it just takes hours and hours of time. But now, with Linkio's new prospector tool, all you need to do is import the CSV, perform some actions, export a list. I'm going to show you how that works. I created a bunch of screenshots here because I think it'll be easier and quicker to go through it that way. So here's an example of how the CSV is imported. You choose a file, you tell the tool which one contains the URLs. We do it this way because after you finish enriching this CSV, you're able to export the data the same way you imported it, making it easier to work with in your existing workflow. Once you import it, we land you at one of three options. You can filter, find emails, and then pick emails. Filtering, this is a very unique tool that no other email finder has. Usually most email finders, they expect you to import perfect data for them to find emails. But when you get data from places like Ahrefs or scraping or wherever you get it from, oftentimes there's 20-30% of the URLs that aren't even worth spending credits on. So in this case, we started with 16 or almost 1,700 URLs. We ran some filters and we got that number down to 1,250. Some of these filters include removing certain languages based on the domain's TLD. It includes filtering out certain domain styles, domain strings, URL strings, reducing to one URL per domain. All these actions combined helped us reduce by about 400 URLs. As a next step, we wanted to actually start finding the emails. So there's three ways to find emails in the tool. The first way is by, if you import a URL list and there's a lot of blog posts on that list, you can tell the prospector to find the blogger's name and then discover the email. So it's a three-step process. Step number one, we found the emails. It goes through and it crawls each of these URLs. Once it's done, it shows you the names that it found here. You're able to just move on to the next step, or you can eyeball this and see which ones make sense, see which ones don't, unselect the ones that don't make sense, and then move on to the next step. The next step is where the system tries to find the emails for each of the authors. And it does this using Hunter's API. So Hunter is a very popular email finding tool. We tap into their API and we leverage it to try to find as many emails as possible. Again, once this process runs, we can see that 404 URLs were queried. We found 227 emails. That's about a little over half. And this is how many credits were spent, 908. You're able to eyeball these emails. Sometimes I like to go through and unselect ones that I know for a fact aren't going to be accurate. Or you just confirm and proceed and let Linkio's third step, checking deliverability of Hunter's suggestions, come into play. So the reason why this is important is because you'll find that although Hunter found 227 emails, once you do the deliverability check, a handful of emails were not deliverable. So this saves you from bounces. With this step, of the 1,250 URLs, the author finder was able to identify 227 URLs with author emails. This cost 908 credits plus 170 credits for email verification. So overall about 1,000 credits, and that equates to about $5 for using the system. However, this means that there's about 1,000 URLs that still require emails. So we don't stop there. There's three ways to find emails. So the second way is to just use Hunter's API at the domain level. So we have that list of websites. We query each website with Hunter's API, and we built a little tool that helps interact with their API better. So you can specify how many emails per domain, if you want personal, any, generic. You can specify which departments you want to focus on, and you can tell the tool that if there's no results found in these departments, then search all departments. Okay? And you can also specify and save credits by saying you only want to use this API with URLs with no emails. So this helps you save on credits. By performing this action, the tool discovered 2,400 emails across the 1,000 items query. So the Hunter API, the way it works is that it returns multiple emails per domain. And then you can eyeball this. I like to do the next step, which is check deliverability. And we found that of these 2,400 emails, about 300 of them were undeliverable. So this is how many credits were spent. If we add that up, now we have 786 URLs with emails. This particular module for this amount of URLs, it costs $23. So right now we've spent about $27, and we've discovered lots and lots of URLs for each email, but there's still about 500 websites that don't have an email yet. So our third module is using our web scraper. The way this works is that it's also a 3-step process. Step number 1 is the tool tries to find the contact page. So you trigger that action, it starts working, it gives you a list of the contact pages it found. You're free to go through and double check it, or just confirm and move to the next step, which is extract the emails from the collected pages. So it's going to be crawling 767 of the URLs. We only trigger the search for the emails that haven't already been found, the URLs that haven't already been found. And this tool found 475 emails. Of course, we're going to check deliverability, and that cleans out 83 emails. 442 credits spent on this module, so that's a $2 cost. For the crawling of the emails, it's actually free. If you want to verify on the back end, that's where some credit expenditure comes in, as you can see from the 0 and the 42. So now we've completed looking for emails. We've discovered 3,000 emails. We've found overall URL emails for 852 of the 1,200 URLs. That's about a 69% success rate. However, now we have about 3 or 4 emails for each of the domains on the list. To speed up, matching which email is the best, we've created this prioritizer. So you can tell the tool, just pick one of these options. You prefer the author, and then the founder, then the marketer, and then a general inbox as a last resort. You can choose this one. That's usually my favorite. Or you can just say marketer, founder, general, sales, founder, general, author, marketer, founder if you don't want any general. Or you can build your own through the condition builder. But by doing this operation, the tool has essentially decided which is the best email per URL on your list. Play around with that data. Once you're ready for exporting, head over to the export tab. You can tell the tool to only export URLs that have emails, URLs after filtering, how many emails per domain. I like to do it by the default settings. And you get a CSV file. And the way this CSV file works is you get the original data here. And then at the end, you have emails added to them. You have email 1. And it tells you why this email was picked. And it says if there's data on the first name, last name, department, position, it provides all that information. I put this into a Google Sheet to demo what it looks like. You can see as we scroll over, we get email 1. We get some admins, we get some founders, we get some personal people, and it tells you this one was chosen as the primary because they're in the executive department, and that was one of the steps in the sequence. And then it tells you if there's a secondary email as well. So secondary was marketing. And then depending on which domain, it can keep going and going, as many emails as you want. And then it makes it really, really easy to compare, see if there's any mistakes that the tool made. If you're able to say, actually, I don't know if I want Anand. Are there any other options? You can see what the second, third options are. Easily swap it over. And with this, you're able to export an enriched sheet of emails. And if you're feeling like you want to find more emails than whatever the tool didn't find emails for, you can go through and find those manually. What I like to do is clean up the sheet and then get it ready for import into my favorite outreach tool. I'm going to show you how to use this with Linkio to actually automate the email outreach portion of it in the next video.